We are so excited that you've joined us tonight. When I grew up in my family, we used to have family vespers every Friday night, every Saturday night. When I went to Walla Walla University, do the same thing every Friday night and every Saturday night. And tonight, we get to have church vespers with our whole church family, all of our conference. So thank you. We had to postpone this a month because of the ice storms and everything, but we're finally here. So excited about what's going to happen tonight. You're going to meet some principals. You're going to meet some teachers. You're going to meet some of our students from all over our conference. But we always started Vespers with a story about Jesus because it's all about Jesus. You know, it was almost 2 weeks since the crucifixion and the resurrection of Jesus that the story takes place. We know that time frame because the disciples stayed in Jerusalem for the whole Passover week. So the following Sunday after resurrection, they took off because they'd been told 3 different times, once by Jesus himself, once by angels that talked, and once by Mary, who the angels had talked to her. Meet me in Galilee is what Jesus told the disciples. Now, Galilee wasn't a short little trip. It was 65 miles away. Those guys were in shape. They were pretty buff. And there was ladies that traveled with them too, and they could travel over 20 miles a day. I don't think I could do that. But those guys took 3 days to go down to Galilee. There was an appointed time. After they got to Galilee, you know the story of Jesus meeting them on the seashore with the net in the water. After that, so probably maybe Thursday or Friday of the second week, is when the 500 met Jesus on the side of the mountain overlooking the Sea of Galilee. The disciples were already there, sharing the amazing story that they had gone through. They had seen Jesus after he has resurrected. What an amazing story that is. The trials that they had gone through, and it had only been probably 12 days since then, and suddenly Jesus was in their midst. He was there. Now, the spikes that went through his hands and his feet were still pretty fresh. Everybody that was there had the opportunity to look at or to touch his hands and to realize that it was really Jesus, back from the dead, resurrected. Their Savior had come back. And the disciples testified to him. And then Jesus gave what we call the Great Commission. Go into all the world, into the far corners of the world, and tell what you have seen. Share the good news. The good news that I am the Son of God. You've seen that. The good news that there is now a plan for you to be fully restored as a son or a daughter of God. And the good news that I will come back and take you, every son or daughter of God, to a perfect place in heaven to live with God forever. So exciting. And he has given us that opportunity to do. The 2 words that he says, I want you to go with confidence and with faith. Wow. It is our joy. We have the best jobs in the world. This is Angela White, one of our superintendents, and we're so excited to be with you tonight.
So excited.
Because our students not only get to experience salvation in their own lives, but they have the incredible privilege of sharing the good news to a world in need. And boy, right now, is there a world in need out there? Just amazing, just amazing. Our students have gone through some tough times this year. It's been a year almost to the day from this pandemic starting, But tonight is going to be a fundraiser, because you as church members have given incredibly to support our work during this last year. In fact, tithe is up over 8%. That's a miracle. But because offerings, you're not in church in person for the last year, some of those offerings are down. And let me tell you another story. I had a person come into my office about 6 years ago and said, I want to help. And let me know how I can help, because we believe we're living in the last days, and we want to prepare an army to go out to the entire world, and nobody can testify like a child can testify. Our children, their angels have constant access to the throne of God. That's why whenever there's any big decisions to be made, we always go to our children, our students in our school and say, would you pray for us? Would you pray for this big decision? So tonight, you're going to have an opportunity to make up that difference because we're a little bit down in our scholarship fund. The person that we were talking to says, what about if we named it Every Child Deserves to Know Christ, because that's the truth. And we got our whole administrative team at the conference office involved. We got our executive committee involved. Now, some of you give in your local churches, and some of you give to local children in your schools. That's beautiful. Some of you like to give to the conference offering. So we made that available. When we wrote out Every Child Deserves to Know Christ, it was actually too long to put on the tithe envelope, so we shortened it up. So it's K-12 Scholarship. So that's our fundraiser tonight, and we're going to have some fun with our fundraiser tonight. All you have to do is go to OregonAdventist.org, go up in the right-hand corner and hit Donate. You're going to have a whole page come up there, and you're going to go to the Conference Union, and right there, the first one is going to be K-12 Scholarship. You know what you can do with that? Not only make a donation, but you can make a recurring donation. So we'll remind you through the night what you can do with that. There's a number that you can call too. It's 503-606, right there on your screen, 6753. 503-606-6753. And just say, I gave. It doesn't matter how much you give, but we'd love to know how many of you are out there giving. So this is going to be fun. You're going to hear from principals. You're going to hear from amazing teachers that have gone through this. You're going to hear from students, in fact, maybe even some students that are here tonight. So this is going to be fun, Angela.
Now,
it is.
K-12 scholarship, every penny goes towards students who want an Adventist education but can't afford it.
That's exactly right.
How does that work?
We have 2 people in our office. All the funds, every penny that comes in goes to support them. And the families that need it, all they have to do is, through their local school, apply for that fund, and then their principal will help them as they go through that vetting process and will assess the need. And then you wouldn't believe how many students we have helped with this fund over the last, and it's about 6 years now that we've been at 850 students. Isn't that amazing?
Thank you, Jesus. Wow.
Yeah, that is just incredible. Have you ever been in a place where you have too many stories to share? It's just incredible. Can I share one more before we hear from our first principal tonight? I was just up at Columbia Academy, and they had their Student Week of Prayer. Now, Student Weeks of Prayer are the absolute best. When I hear one going on, I'll travel anywhere. I'll go down to Rogue Valley or Milo or Livingston or PAA or up to CAA or some of our elementary schools. Just last week, it was 2 weeks ago, I walked in on a Wednesday morning, and the Medical Aid Church hosted it. I love it when our churches and our schools work together. That is so good. And the church hosted it, and there was a young lady and a young man, and they both gave their testimonies. I'll tell just a little bit because I asked Colin if I could share this with you. Colin gave his testimony. He's a freshman there, so he's talking to upperclassmen. And he said, when I was born in Tanzania in Africa, and when I was very young, my younger sister and I were actually left in our hut that we were raised in. And he says, I was very young, and I don't know if I was there for a week or 2 completely by ourselves. We were going to die. And somebody came along, and they knew about an orphanage close, so they found us. They took us to the orphanage, and then somebody from that orphanage knew somebody, had some connections with a family that wanted to adopt them. And so Colin was able to be adopted by this amazing family who really saved their lives. It was a beautiful moment because actually the family was there. And Colin had them stand, and they were pretty shy. They didn't want to stand, had them stand up, and all the students applauded. And then Colin continued his testimony, and he says, my family and my church and my school told me that I have another father who has adopted me into his heavenly family. And I know that I am a son of the living God, and that's where I'm going to live forever. It was a beautiful, beautiful
Wow.
testimony.
We have the best jobs in the world.
We have the best jobs in the world. That
jobs.
is so true. We get to work with these amazing people, but these amazing students. That's the joy.
That's amazing.
It was incredible. It was
Wow.
incredible. So
Wow.
good. So good.
I can't wait. We get to hear from Jeff next.
Oh, that is so
Jeff
good.
Jackson is the principal at Roseburg.
Roseburg, yep.
He took it really personal when the schools had to shut down.
Yes.
It really hurt him personally because he is so passionate about his ministry and
Yes.
reaching those children.
Yes.
Just amazing. He's doubled his enrollment
Yep.
since he's been there.
Yep.
Amazing.
In the last 4 years, doubled the enrollment.
And what's the hot news off the press about Jeff?
I know there is hot news about Jeff. We've asked Jeff to join our department here, so he's going to be one of our superintendents. David Davies, if you haven't heard, our superintendent down in Southern Oregon is retiring. We're very sad for that, but Jeff's going to take his place down in Southern Oregon.
That's
so we're
exciting.
glad about that, and his ministry will expand. Yeah.
He has such a passion for those small schools.
He does. He does.
So this is Jeff Jackson down at Roseburg Academy.
Hi, my name is Jeff Jackson, and I'm the head teaching principal at Roseburg Christian Academy. I am so excited to be able to share with you what Adventist education has done in my life. I believe that the greatest gift my parents gave me was the gift of Adventist education. In elementary school, I remember going to school and every day was so amazing. And as life had its ups and downs, Adventist elementary school was the most amazing, consistent thing. And each day I was blessed to be surrounded by teachers that not only cared about me and not only dedicated their lives to making sure I knew that they cared about me, but even more importantly, they dedicated their lives to making sure we as students knew that God loved us and He had our back. And now it's been the greatest honor of my life to continue to work in Adventist education, in elementary schools and in academies. And our goal there is the same thing. We want to teach the kids about all the cool things here on earth and prepare them for life on earth. But way more importantly, we want them to know beyond the shadow of a doubt that there is a God in heaven who made this world, and His ultimate goal is to share eternity with them. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being a part of supporting Adventist education, for your dedication to making sure that kids have an amazing school to go to. Thank you for all you do for us, for your prayers and for your support. And we're so excited for the future when one day we all get to see Jesus come again. Thank you.
That was powerful.
That was powerful.
He's a powerful leader. So
True.
excited, so
True.
excited. Now, we don't want to just talk to each other and talk at the camera. We want to interact with the audience, right?
Nice.
Yeah, we want to interact and change it up a little bit.
Nice.
So, if you are on Facebook or if you're on YouTube, please use the comment section. We want to hear from you. We want to hear if Adventist education has impacted you. And you can just say hi or anything that you want. That'd be great.
Perfect. Next, we're going to take you on a little trip, and you're going to go to the Oregon coast. We live in a beautiful area, just a gorgeous, gorgeous state. We have 28 schools in Oregon, in the state of Oregon, and we have 4 schools up in Southwest Washington. So we're excited about each one of our schools because we're most excited about the students in those schools. And if you would go to the Oregon coast and head south, you'd come to a little town called Florence, and you'd come to the Adventist church and the Adventist school, and you wouldn't know which is which because they're both right there together. And they're both right. If you go out the back door of the church or the school, there's these big sand dunes there. It's an amazing setting. They have a nice playground on campus, but once in a while, the teacher, Sarah Lassou, who just came over from Beirut to join us, says, the school is growing. It's so exciting down there. But she has 2 students this year that are going to share a little bit of a testimony about how the school has impacted their lives. And if you would know these 2 students, Ashlyn is one of them, Emma, her half-sister, is the other, and they are absolutely amazing young Christian ladies. I got to tell you a little story about Ashlyn. She needed a little help with her algebra. And they says, where can we go for help with that? Well, the principal at Milo, Mr. Thornton, Mr. Randy Thornton, the students call him Mr. T, he heard about that. And he says, I want to help because I'm a certified math teacher. So because they can do that virtually twice a week, Mr. T and Ashlyn get together online, and he tutors her in math.
That's incredible.
That's too fun. So Ashlyn's dream is to be next year a student at Milo. So that is too fun. So right now we're going to hear from Ashlyn and Emma.
What I learned about Jesus is he's not just a strict rule setter, but he's really loving and kind, and that it's not just like a religion, and it's a relationship that you have with God, and you can like talk to him like he's a friend, and he's just like always there. And before I didn't think of it that way, and I thought of it as like you go to church, and on church that's the day you see God, but now you realize how it's every day that you get to see God, and everything around you is Jesus and how he's shaping your life. When I went to public school, I was like one of the popular mean girl type, and it's changed so much from that, because you learn that like everyone around you, like you can teach everyone, and you can like teach everyone about Jesus, and by going here you like learn more about him, and it's changed my life that like you're just kinder to people, and you realize that everyone around you goes through hard stuff, and so like you learn how to like talk to them better, I guess. And I used to have really bad anxiety, and so now placing all your worries on that, and like realizing you really don't have much to worry about when you're with Jesus, is really a lot better. And you just realize how much better life can be, and how much it just really changes you.
What can you tell us about some of the things you learned about Jesus this year at this school?
That he's willing to take care of you if you're sick and forgive you for your sins, and that if you make a mistake, just learn from it, and that he can forgive you from your sins, and that if something's too hard, keep trying and don't give up. And I share Jesus to other people, and I pray before I eat. I talk about him to my family, and I'm going to go to church on Saturday.
Wow, isn't this great? We had so many good videos submitted to us, it was hard to narrow it down. Meadowglade, which is our largest elementary school, submitted quite a few videos, and it was hard to choose. What's amazing about Meadowglade is because of their size, they had to do a lot more to accommodate the COVID regulations, and all of our schools worked so hard to accommodate that, but it was really hard for them. In fact, they had to add a classroom, is that correct?
That's true.
To make sure they could accommodate everything. Just unbelievable.
Yeah.
So just want to thank the students and the schools who participated in this. Next up, we have Jude Payne. He's a 5th grader, and he is going to share with you really quick why he follows Jesus.
Hello, my name is Jude Payne, and I am in the 5th grade at Meadowglade Adventist Elementary School. And here's the reasons why I follow Jesus. When I was little, around the age 5, my family went through some hard times, and he just comforted me through those times. Without him, I would be lost.
Hello, I'm Wes Rippey. I'm a surgeon here at Adventist Health Portland. I'm a beneficiary of over 25 years of education within Adventist schools and institutions. That education has been a cornerstone of my life. The pandemic that we are living through at this time, it's changed our schools and the way we educate our students. You know the huge changes this has brought about, and our teachers are working hard to try to continue involvement with our students and to give us hope, which I think is one of the biggest things that we can do in our education.
It's amazing. The Rippey family represents a lot of church people who would do anything for Adventist education. I remember Wes's parents, Bill Rippey, when they were going on vacation one year, they'd saved up their money. They were going to go to Hawaii. I remember this trip. And they says, you know what? Portland Adventist Academy was building a new school then, and they says, we're going to forego that, and we're going to put all our vacation money into that new building.
Wow.
That's the kind of dedication of members that we have out there. It's just beautiful. So thank you for that testimony, Dr. Rippey Wes. Because our medical field and our education field have worked really closely together. I called up the president of the hospital and I says, how can we work together on these vaccines? And they says, we'll do anything to help our schools out. So it's really been nice to see that collaboration there. So
That's beautiful. That's
That is.
beautiful. And remember, if you have been impacted by Adventist education, please comment. We would love to hear from you. Thank you.
Nice.
Oh my goodness! My
Yes.
favorite part is here. I've
Yes.
been waiting a month for this. We actually have a live student, amazing new friend of mine. I want to introduce you to Cora.
Yes.
Hi, Cora. Thank you for coming to be with us. How are you tonight?
Good.
Good. Thank you so much for coming. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my favorite animal is koala bears.
Wow.
My pet is Chief and Betty. They're different dogs. I like my house. I like God because He's very nice to us. I know I love God, and I am very thankful that He is really good to us.
Thank you so much. Now you're in second grade. In what school do you go to?
SAS.
SAS, which stands for Scappoose Adventist School, huh?
Yeah.
That's awesome. What are some of your favorite things that you do when you're home? What are some things you like to do?
Oh.
At school.
At school or home, wherever. What kind of things do you like to do for fun?
At school, we like to play with our Play-Doh, do computers, and swings.
Oh,
The
fun.
swings are really going out fast in our playground these days.
They have nice swings.
We usually play the swings are usually getting used more and more every sunny day.
Nice. Tell me your favorite thing about your teacher.
She's kind, generous, and very nice.
What's her name?
Miss Rampson.
Oh, she is very nice. Now, this is your first year at Scappoose Adventist, right?
Yes.
Well, how come you decided to come to Scappoose Adventist School?
Well, I wasn't doing good learning on Zoom at Warren Elementary.
How come you weren't doing very good?
My parents weren't that good at teaching me.
Were you having to learn at home online and that was super hard?
Yes.
That is so hard. I'm so glad that you got to come to Scappoose Adventist. How wonderful. What are some favorite things you've gotten to learn at school?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we've learned how to present because we were learning how to run a business. This is for social study, but there was not really anything to learn because no one did our business. But it was really fun making the posters.
That's awesome. Now you can run a business. Do you learn about God at Scappoose?
Yes,
What have you learned about God while you've been at school?
that He's grateful, kind, and generous.
Very nice. Now you told me a story, one of your favorite Bible stories earlier. What was that story about?
Moses and the flood. God told Moses that He was going to flood the world and remake it. So Noah built a big ark, 2 of each animal, 1 girl and 1 boy. When the doors closed by an angel, God, and this is what I know that I didn't know, God brought the Garden of Eden up to heaven right
before the flood.
Wow.
He promises not to flood the earth with water, to destroy the earth with water again. The rainbow is a sign. Instead, he'll destroy it with fire this time.
Wow, and you learned all of that just this year.
Yes.
That's amazing. That is amazing. Is there any questions you want to ask
I'd
her?
love it.
Yeah, I don't want to hog her. This is so fun.
No,
So much to learn.
Thank you for sharing. I learned from you. Now, when you go to heaven, have you thought about when you're going to go to heaven? Have you thought about that at all? No? No? When you see Jesus for the first time, do you think you're going to give Jesus a big hug, or maybe ask him a question, or maybe tell him something? What do you think you'll do?
I think I'll ask him a question.
Oh,
You
good.
probably will.
That's great. Do you know the question yet?
Not really.
Not really, but you'll ask
You have
him
to
a
think
question.
about that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Last time we talked, you told me what you had learned. That what did Jesus do for you?
He died on the cross for us.
Wow,
That's
that's beautiful.
That's beautiful.
That is beautiful.
That's beautiful.
That's a beautiful testimony, Cora. And right now, you have shared that testimony with a lot of people all over, some of them all over the world. And they now know you and they know your Jesus because of what you said. Thank you for sharing. That meant a lot. That was
Thank you.
beautiful.
Thank
That
you.
was. So that's good. This is Cora.
This Cora is amazing.
Yeah. If we were live, we would give a round of applause to Cora. That's true. So you applaud for Cora wherever you are, because that was amazing. That is
Yeah.
great. Are you here with your parents? Yeah. Are they really nice?
Yes.
Yes. That's great. And is that your brother too? No.
No, I don't have a brother.
Oh, you don't have a brother, just your parents. That's perfect. That is perfect. Well, we're so honored that you came and shared with us. That's beautiful. So thank you, Cora.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's perfect. We are going to hear from one of our principals, and our principals have just been doing heroics, absolutely amazing. In fact, I can tell you, when this pandemic started 1 year ago, we just before spring break, all of our principals got together and we met with them all, and they took the 1 week of spring break, turned on a dime, reorganized their whole schools, and kept going for the students to meet the needs of the students. Just amazing. When we got together with all of our principals, we says, what's the most important thing we can do? Because we had all these requirements from the state, all these forms to fill out, all these safety procedures, and we said the most important thing we can do is focus on the needs of Cora and the needs of all our students, and the best way we can do that is to worship God. So we spent time every week, and what we did, all of our superintendents led out in worship. And then when our superintendents, because we have 4, and then we asked our principals, we said, would you lead out in this worship? And those meetings brought us together as a team and a family, and we've kept those meetings. Now we only have to meet once every 2 weeks, so we meet every other week, and we choose one of our principals to lead out in worship. And sometimes the majority of the meeting is worship, is just worship, and that's beautiful. We are told when we get to heaven that we're going to spend eternity discovering the plan of salvation and what that means. And we felt a little bit of that because as we've shared together and grown together, that worship time has meant absolutely everything. One of our schools that you're going to hear from their principal, Jenny Neal, oh, amazing. She has worked so hard over there at Three Sisters, that's our school in Bend. If you would go there at 6 o'clock at night, Jenny's car is still there. If you go there at 6 o'clock in the morning, Jenny's car is still there. And all the teachers with her because they work so hard to meet the needs of all their students, just like Cora. And it's amazing, as they transitioned, they became a child care center to meet the needs of the first responders in their area, in the area of Bend. And they've actually, because of that, now that we've been able to reopen most of our schools, they've been able to translate that, because once students realize what Adventist education offers, they say, I'm not leaving, we're staying right here. And she's having to add, in fact, they've already hired another teacher for next year, and that's exciting. Jenny's going to share with you a little bit about what it is to have God in control and the relationships that she has formed with her community. So, Jenny Neal.
Hi, I'm Jenny Neal from Three Sisters Adventist Christian School. As we head into the 1-year anniversary of having this COVID-19 pandemic, one of the phrases that has continued to inspire me and to give me hope was actually from Gail Crosby, our superintendent. At one of the last principal meetings we were able to have in person, he said, "This will end in worship." Every single day throughout this past year, I have felt the weight of responsibility for my school, for my teaching team, for my students and their families, and the pressing desire and the hope for them to realize and to claim this very quote, that this will end in worship. Somehow, whether we can see it, whether we can feel it or not, whether we even can realize it or not, holding on to the perspective that God is in control, that He is in charge, and that His will carry us forward through these challenges, that is the best comfort to me. As a teaching principal of Three Sisters Adventist Christian School, I must admit it was just with tremendous heartache that we had to close last March. Fortunately, I totally believe through God's intervention and through His hand of providence, we were able to open shortly after as an emergency childcare for our families. We feel so blessed to have been able to start the school year still in emergency childcare, meeting the needs of our families, not only in our Adventist community, but in a wider community. There are many families that have joined us this year who would never have considered Christian education had it not been for the public schools to be closed. And when they come to our school to be met every morning with worship, with the love and joy that God gives us to start their day in that way, it has made a true impact. One of the students' moms texted me just a few weeks ago about her daughter's desire to be baptized because of the love and the care she had received at our school. But best of all, she said, "My daughter has met her new best friend, Jesus." So whether I'm praising God because the COVID-19 pandemic has been conquered, whether I'm praising Him because He has come again to take us to heaven, or whether it's because one of our students has claimed Him as their new best friend, that is a reason to worship. Thank you so much for your continued support, your prayers, your financial support of Adventist education. We couldn't do it without you, and we definitely do it because of the love God has given to us.
Thank you, Jenny. You can see her passion, absolute passion. And if you'd visit her school, it's just exciting to see what's happening. Don't forget, tonight is a fundraiser. So this is all about the cores of the world, and we want to make sure that you have that opportunity to give. So if you go to OregonAdventist.org, go up to the right-hand corner, put donate, go down to K-12 scholarship, and you can donate any amount you want, and you can make that reoccurring. So that'll be exciting to see that if you want to make that a monthly offering there. And then if you want to text us and just say, I gave, that's 503-606-6753, 503-606-6753. This is fun. Angela, you've got another student to introduce. This is good.
I love this next one. When I watched this video, it reminded me why children are so important to God.
Yeah.
It just really touched my heart. So next up, we have Peyton White, and she is a 3rd grader at Meadowglade.
Hi, my name is Peyton White, and I'm in 3rd grade, and I go to Meadowglade out at elementary school. What does Jesus mean to me? Jesus means so much to me because He is loving and caring. And when you might be mad at someone or sad because someone hurt your feelings, and no one is there with you and you think you're alone, but you can always pray to Jesus because He is always listening to what you have to say, and He will always be with you wherever you go.
That was so beautiful. We do have the best jobs in the world because we have the opportunity to interact with these precious young people each and every day when we go all over the state and travel around and get to see them interact with their teachers. I'm so excited because I get to introduce a teacher and a student at our largest academy, Portland Adventist Academy. And Linda Johnson, I remember a number of years ago. She was working as a dental hygienist, and I said, Linda, I think you have a passion for working with young people. And God leads in amazing ways, and she's been at PAA for a number of years now. And what the students have learned from her is just amazing. Linda's going to share with you, from a teacher's standpoint, how we have kept up the high standards of our academics through this pandemic. And then you're going to hear a little bit about how she has brought God into the classroom on a continual basis, because that's our number one goal. Then you're going to hear from one of the...
Hi, my name is Linda Johnson, and
Then you're going to hear from one of the students at Portland Adventist Academy, and that's Kira. And Kira is going to, from a student standpoint, share with you just a little bit of the tough times that it's been. She wrote a little poem that speaks to the heartbreak of going through times like this as a student. So first we're going to hear from Linda Johnson, and then we're going to hear from Kira.
Hi, my name is Linda Johnson, and I teach anatomy and physiology at Portland Adventist Academy. The pandemic has put a definite strain on education and kids being able to be on campus. We've wondered how kids would handle distance learning and what would happen to their academic lives when we weren't able to meet with them every day on campus. But I'm here to say that Adventist education is working. We oftentimes connect anatomy and physiology in class to the Creator. And I talk about the design of the human body, how amazing the design of the human body is, and how much it supports creation. My former students from class, they have gone on to be physical therapists. I just have a student right now that's entered medical school at Loma Linda University. I have another one that's applying to Loma Linda University for medical school. Some are nurses, some are physical therapists, occupational therapists, respiratory therapists, and some have gone on to be a teacher themselves. So we connect to our world around us by attending usually cadaver labs that are human cadaver labs here at local universities. And we also are able to get our students into surgical observations where they can see and put to a real life occupation what they're learning in class. It's an important component. So I just want to let you know that if you're going to enroll your student in a school, that I would choose Adventist education.
So I wrote a poem and it's called Will We Run Dry? This isolation is guarding our hearts and blocking our souls. We need that love with our friends. That's what keeps our heart whole. People say that as long as we stay isolated, we will not die. But like a plant without care, it shrivels up and becomes dry. We are humans who need that care, who need that touch with the outside world. We need that thrill of adventure that friends bring all over the world.
Beautiful, Kira. And we have the joy of knowing Kira, and that's the joy. We're going to know these students forever, because they're going to spend forever in a perfect place, and that is just beyond good, beyond good. Thank you for sending in the comments. Let me just read a couple of them that came in from you. I went to Adventist schools from 1st through 12th grade, went to Adventist colleges, began teaching in the Oregon Conference. What wonderful testimonies. Thankful to God because my parents let me be in Christian schools. God bless you. That's beautiful comments. Our children are so blessed by the teachers and staff, and they name Livingston Adventist Academy. There you go. We're thrilled that they can be in school full-time, and we are thankful for the Adventist schools I have attended as well, along with my husband and children. Adventist education is the best. I went through Adventist education from 1st through 12th grade as well as college. Our kids have also gone. Bless you for what you are doing and all of the students in our schools. Thank you for sending those comments. That's beautiful.
That's fun. We get to hear from another school, another student, one of my favorites down at Emerald.
Oh, love it.
Now, Nalita is the principal, you know.
Nalita is
I love her.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
she's amazing. She is passionate about creating those safe spaces.
That's true.
So that kids can be totally creative and reach their maximum potential in Jesus.
That's true. I remember Nalita, she had a question about what's safe to be left in the classroom. You remember that? She just took out everything from the classroom.
To make
Just
it work, yeah.
Yeah, and then just brought back in the essential things.
Beautiful.
That was smart.
They're very
Yeah,
smart.
yeah.
So Nadia is a 6th grader.
Nice.
Yeah, and when you listen to Nadia, at least when I saw her, I was like reminded that God is raising up a generation of leaders, and this is Nadia is a great example of that.
My experience at Emerald Christian Academy has changed my view of God a lot. Seeing that the teachers feel strongly about him and hearing what he's done in their lives has been a life-changing experience. When I went from a public school to a private Adventist school, I was really nervous, but there was no reason for me to be. I was welcomed with open arms. Academically and spiritually, I needed this. Before I came to Emerald, my view of God was somebody that you don't want to disobey and confusing. I just didn't understand his reasoning at all. I had a tragic event happen in my family. My Aunt Sandy Henton died in the middle of the night out of nowhere. She had been the happiest, most godly person around. I was mad at God. I didn't understand why she had to go. But then after my experience at Emerald, my mind was tested and pushed in ways that it hadn't been before. And not in a bad way. I learned that something good can always come out of the bad. And in this case, it was me striving to be more like my aunt. I learned about growth mindsets, and I've been pushed to think, what am I thankful for? And how can I share God's work? A lot of it has been through music. In Bible class, we always have a chance to share our thoughts and opinions about the day's topic. And through Google Classroom, we can post links to a Christian song that relates to what we've been talking about. And it's always so fun to see what my classmates have learned and what they think about God. For me, my first year and a half at Emerald, I learned that God is my Father and that I can trust the plans that he has for me.
So excited. I hope you are being inspired by these student testimonies. So that is fun. We're going to hear from Terry Johnson. Terry Johnson is a friend of Adventist Education, one of our administrators at Portland Adventist Medical Center, and we love Terry. His testimonies are absolutely amazing.
They're amazing. I
Yes.
love his stories. He talks about his antics in school a little bit.
That's true.
But because he went to our Adventist schools.
Which ones?
He went to Portland Adventist Elementary.
He did.
He went to Portland Adventist Academy.
That's right.
He did. But you know what really moves me about his testimony is the impact those teachers had forever on his life.
That's true.
It really, and it's part of our belief system that all students can succeed, all students, and his testimony is just the most beautiful evidence for that.
That's beautiful. So let's hear from Terry.
Hello, I'm Terry Johnson, Vice President for Mission Integration at Adventist Health Medical Center, Portland. I just want to say that Christian education means something very close to my heart. It really means something to me. I can think of myself as a little second grader who struggled in school. In fact, I went to a very large public school, almost 40 kids in the classroom, and they discovered that, I couldn't read. And as you can imagine, one teacher trying to deal with all of this, trying to work within her budget and all, it was just very bad. But what really saved Terry Johnson was two things. One, a mother that really believed that there was hope, and a mother that believed in the importance of sending me to a Christian school. And so Mom found a little Christian school that took me in. And what I love about Christian education, for me at least, it's the teachers. The teachers who really take time to try to understand using the biblical principles that we know and were raised with. And that teacher was able to teach me self-esteem and to believe in myself, to believe that, Terry, you're not stupid, that you can make a difference. And I just imagine what would have happened if I would have stayed in the other school setting instead of been in this positive Christian setting. I think things would have been completely different. And so I just want to say that it's very important that we understand that there is a purpose for Christian education. It makes differences for kids, having teachers that believe in them, teachers that work with them, teachers that even pray with them. And I can only tell you, for me, that was the thing that really made a difference for my life.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you. And remember, if you have been impacted by Adventist education, please make a comment. We'd love to hear from you. I love the couple comments that have come in that your own children are receiving help from the K-12 Scholarship Fund. That's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Remember, every penny of that scholarship fund goes to students like that. So thank you. We get to hear from the school that Terry Johnson attended.
That's true.
Yeah.
This will be fun. Because you can't tour the schools and they're just opening up, we actually had our Christmas miracle. You know, a lot of our schools in Oregon were totally shut down, and tried to do a hybrid or as much as they could, or child care center. But just before Christmas, we had the Christmas miracle, which opened up almost all of our schools.
Yeah.
So we're really, in fact, all of our schools are opened up right now. We're really, really excited about that. But Brandon O'Neill, our principal at Portland Adventist Elementary School, strong administrators do a number of things well. They cast the vision to talk to Brandon about his walk with Jesus, about that's the goal of Portland Adventist Elementary School. It's just beautiful. The teachers that he hires, that he brings in, oh, it's amazing what they've done. But we asked Brandon to take us on a little tour and see what a school looks like during the pandemic.
And he's worked tirelessly. He's also one of our largest elementary schools.
It's
and
true.
so he had to do it a little bit differently than everybody else, just because he's passionate about having those kids in person.
That's so true.
So he did it a little bit differently. He just works tirelessly.
Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. So let's hear from Brandon. This will be good.
Hello, welcome to Portland Adventist Elementary School. I'm going to show you a little bit about what school's like during COVID. So come on in. So as you enter each day, you'll have to sign in, and we'll ask you some health questions and take your temperature. So let me get your temperature. All right, it looks great. And you'll sign in here and then check whether you pass the temperature test or not. So let's come on this way. So this is the area here where our teachers drop off the students' work for the students that are testing at home. So each Thursday, parents will come in, get their students' work, and this will go along with what they're doing online. So let's go this way and I can show you one of the classrooms. All right, through here is one of our classrooms. Currently the students aren't in the classroom, but you can see that we have the desk social distance. The teacher has her distance and her space to work. So we have to make sure that there's room for students in class, so it does limit the amount of students in each classroom. Kids are walking in the hallway that they all have to wear their mask, as well as they have to social distance 6 feet apart. So we'll walk down here by the classroom. So this is another room where our first graders are, and they're not in here now again, but you can see that the computers are on their desks. This is where they work for their online learning, and we have to have them social distance apart. Here's another one of our classrooms where the students are working. So you can see here we have the students with their mask on, they're seated 6 feet apart. So we did have several quotes around the building on the wall, and this is one of our favorites. It's higher than the highest human thought can reach is God's ideal for his children. That's an Ellen White quote, and we really work hard every day to make this the best place it can be for our students, especially during this difficult time. Well, thank you for visiting PAES. Come by anytime.
Thank you, man. I love PAS. If you love PAS, make a comment about that too. But we have another really special honor tonight to have a live student with us, and we get to interview Harper. Yes. Harper, thank you so much for being here tonight. You guys drove a bit to be here. Thank you. And you are a fifth grader at Scappoose Adventist?
Yes.
That is awesome, awesome. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Harper Treat. I'm 11 years old and I'm in 5th grade.
Nice, nice. Now you have a dog at home?
Yes, I
Yeah.
do.
Is it Charlie?
Yes.
Oh, I got it. Yes. Yeah, that's awesome. What are some of the things you like to do at home? What are the ways you like to spend your time? Your hobbies?
Well, we just got a new trampoline. We like doing
Fun.
that. We have a little art room downstairs that we use.
I've heard you're quite the artist.
Really?
In more ways than one, though.
Wow.
Yeah. What else do you do with art?
Yeah.
I like to paint. I like to draw. Yeah, just anything really.
Wow.
You know, singing's an art too, right? I heard you had a solo part in the Christmas program at your school
way.
this
I did.
year. Was that online?
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing. Nice. So you do all kinds of different arts.
Yeah.
Very nice. Now, if I remember correctly, you went kindergarten through 3rd grade to Scappoose Adventist. And,
Yeah.
And then you weren't in 4th grade, but you came back in 5th grade. How come you came back in 5th grade?
Well, with private schools, they give more attention to individual kids so that you can learn a lot more there.
Yeah. And you were doing online learning? Is that one of the reasons you came back in 5th grade to Scappoose? Were you?
Yes.
What was hard about your online learning?
Well, it was just hard to get to like your schoolwork and stuff. And like they didn't actually teach you the assignments, they just gave it to you.
So it was it was a struggle. A lot of people watching tonight, they haven't tried online learning, so that's why I'm asking you so that they can understand what that's like. I know that being at Scappoose Adventist this year has helped you in some of your subjects. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's helped me in math a lot. We're learning decimals this year. Yeah, it's helped me a lot in math and pretty much all my subjects.
Yay, I'm so glad that you're able to be successful there. That is wonderful. What, in all your time, K through 3 and 5th grade, what have you learned about Jesus at your school?
Well, we do Bible and we learn about Jesus a lot. We have a thing called Tag Time. It stands for Time Alone with God, where you just get to talk to Him and write in your journal and do prayers and stuff. Every morning we have Bible and there's stories sometimes, and we just do Bible verses and write them down.
Very nice. That's wonderful. And I know you have an amazing principal, Mrs. Aguilar.
Yeah.
She's really cool. I like her. She's one of my friends.
Is she like here today?
She's here.
Yeah, she's right over there.
She didn't want to miss this moment, so we let her in,
great.
didn't we? Yeah. What's your favorite thing that you've learned from her?
It's hard to choose. We learned a lot. I'm not sure.
That's okay. I put you on the spot with that one. Sorry. Sorry. Do you have any other questions for her?
Oh, when you get to heaven, how do you think you're gonna greet Jesus? Do you think you'll ask him a question like Cora, or do you think you'll give him a hug, or what do you think you'll do?
I'll probably give him a hug, and I'll probably ask a lot of questions.
Nice. Now, Jesus said he's up there building you a house right now. In fact, it's kind of a mansion. So can you have any idea of what he's building for you? Do you have anything that you would like him to know that you put this in my room or do something special? What kind of a mansion would you like Jesus to build for you?
Not sure.
Maybe one with some animals around, or maybe one with mountains, or maybe ones with, lots of things to do, hiking and climbing and all around. Maybe that's inside the house. Whoa, crazy.
Maybe with trees everywhere, and maybe a lake.
Oh, she's gonna get that treehouse mansion.
Nice.
With a lake below you can just like jump into from your treehouse. That'd be cool.
And a rope swing.
And a rope swing.
Perfect. I'm coming to visit you. And a zip line too.
Yes.
Oh, and a zip line. Oh,
Yes.
Nice. That's great. You're a water girl then. That's too fun.
Thank you so much for coming and
Yes.
spending some time with us, for helping the audience understand what it was like to be a student during this time period.
Yes.
Thank you for everything that you've given.
Yeah, bless
Thank
your
you,
heart.
Harper.
Bless your heart, Harper. That is good.
What's next, Gal?
I know, we need to remind everybody that this is a fundraiser, and we've had a number of donations come in. So let's see, OregonAdventist.org. I'm going to remember that, OregonAdventist.org. You can go right there, hit the donate button, go right down to K-12 scholarships. And if you find that, now some of you will want to do that after the program's over, because it might be, if you're on your laptop, listen to this. So you can do that afterwards. And then if you want to just say, and remember, you can give that recurring. So you could do that every week or every month, and you would help students just like Harper and Cora. That's exactly it. And then just say, I gave. And a number of you have told us that you've gave, and that's 503-606-6753. So just text that, I gave. That is beautiful. Good. we're ready to hear from another student.
Yay.
So excited. Carson. And Carson is a Zimmerman, and he goes out to Meadowglade too, an 8th grader. If you remember what it was like to be an 8th grader, except this is a unique 8th grade year, probably one of a kind. Yeah, in our whole history. In fact, here's an interesting story. We used to have 3, what we called them wise men in our department, and they were retired superintendents, and they prided themselves. Dr. Minder and Dr. Plubel and Kendall Butler, and they says, give us anything, because we've been through everything. And I called Dr. Minder at the start of this pandemic, and I said, okay, Warren, tell me about this one. He says, Gail, we've never been through anything like this. And it's true. It is true. So our students and our teachers and all of our principals, they've done heroics this year, really heroics. You're going to hear from Carson, an 8th grader, and he's going to share a little bit. You're going to see that he's a writer, a real writer, and he's going to share his passion right now. So Carson.
My name is Carson Zimmerman. I am from Meadowglade, and I am an 8th grader. I follow Jesus because he saved me, along with all who believes in the work of the cross. My grandmother once said, it doesn't matter what type of faith you have, as long as you believe in the works of the cross and you follow the commandments, you will be saved from sin, and you will be united with God in heaven. For God so loved the world, he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. John 3:16. I heard a song once called Even If by Mercy Me, and it showed me God's true power. The lyrics say, I know you're able, I know you can, but even if you don't, my hope is you alone. It showed me what true faith is. True faith is believing in God, even if he doesn't save you. After this, I became a songwriter, writing songs for Jesus. My most recent is called I Have You. Every time I write a song, it brings me closer to God and fills my heart and soul with his love and the Spirit. I'll never stop writing songs in his name. I had a teacher once in 5th grade named Miss Benko. She was a follower of Christ, and really was a miracle that she came into my life. Every day, my faith increased because of her. One night at my grandmother's, we were reading a devotion, and I thought, what if I gave Miss Benko a daily devotion book? So I did, and she loved it. She said she read it every night, and every time she did, it filled her heart with the Spirit. Miss Benko is just one of the blessings God has blessed me with. 2020 may have been a bad year for all of us, but it was one of God's trials for us. In my opinion, it might have been a good year because so many more people had their eyes opened and had to look for Jesus. This includes me. At the beginning of the year, I had influenza for 2 weeks and an extremely high fever. I felt like I was dying. It was the sickest I've ever been in my life. Luckily, my Lord saved me from it. He whispered into my ears the lyrics to a song I'm going to write after I submit this. It gave me power and strength, and it healed me. Then later, we had online learning, and I was stressed out, so I prayed. God, stop the rain outside my window and the sun shine through. This is no coincidence. It's God's great love and powerful. This year and all my life, God has shown me his power. Lord, my God, I called you for help, and you healed me. Psalms 32.
Man, I hope somebody's going to snag Carson to write music for their worship.
Yes. Wouldn't that be a great idea?
That's so cool.
That's
Awesome.
amazing. You know, through this, I have seen leadership in students develop and come out.
Beautiful.
It is true.
Beautiful.
It is true. They've stepped up.
You know, we've reached the best part of the program.
The best part.
I can't wait.
Oh,
I have been waiting for this.
It is crazy, crazy. Students from all over our conference, almost every school is represented.
Oh.
Yes. And we're going to do the amazing. It's a song. It's a song called The Blessing. Tell us more.
23 students.
Wow.
Almost all the schools represented.
Wow.
I've been dreaming about this ever since the pandemic started because you see these things on YouTube all the time, and I was like, somebody's got to do this, and they finally did it. A virtual choir.
That is so cool.
All these kids working together. Special thanks to Zach Parks, a recording artist that put this together for us. That's so great. And then I want to also give special recognition to Laura Halverson.
That's true.
She has a solo part in it. A lot of tech work that went behind this.
A lot of tech work.
Just
Yeah.
love it. Yeah, I'm excited. So enjoy.
Are we ready? Are we ready for
I don't
the
know.
blessing? Yeah.
You better share some more.
I know. This is the highlight. You know, and this whole evening was put together by a team that's out here, and they don't want me to say this, but they've worked so hard for
yeah.
this. Wasn't our idea.
No.
This was Jonathan and Dick,
Yeah.
And they came up with this, and the communications department, and Gary's here, and Mitchell's here, and Mackenzie's here, and they're the ones, and all of our students that came up with this. And right from the start, they says, what if we had a song? What if we had a song that showed all of our students getting together and singing in unison as a foretaste of when we get to heaven? That's going to be the beautiful song when we sing the blessing song up in heaven as a true huge choir. So this is just the start of that event right there.
And this fundraiser, it's a celebration of what God has done for us during this pandemic.
That is true.
When things were so hard, it's really given us a chance to share more of Jesus with people. It's just been a huge blessing.
Blessing, there you go.
Which is such a perfect song because we are about to share the blessing.
There you go.
The Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. The Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Amen. 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 May his favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family and your children and their children and their children. May his presence go before you and behind you and beside you, all around you and within you. He is with you. He is with you in the morning, in the evening, when you're coming and you're going, when you're weeping and rejoicing. He is for you. 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 The Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and
it was worth the wait.
Beautiful.
Just like we learned in our worships with the principals, it will all end in worship. What a great, great ending to our celebration tonight.
That's beautiful. That just is. And we know how it's all really going to end. We're going to see that white cloud. 1/2 the size of a man's hand that's going to appear in the skies. Every eye will see it, and we will know what's about to happen. It's incredible. I used to dream about leading all the students in all our schools into heaven, but now I believe that they're going to lead us in. And that's beautiful. We're all going to be there together. We're going to live forever in a perfect world with a loving God. No more sin, no more sorrow, no more guilt, no more. We're done. We're done with all that. And that's why we're here tonight. So I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your gifts, your ongoing gifts, your belief in Adventist education, your belief in the young people that we have the pleasure of interacting each and every day. Every one of them, a child of God, born in his very image, created in his very image, with a purpose for their life to share the good news of the gospel. So thank you for joining us in this celebration, this Vespers time, and join me in prayer as we finish. Dear Father in heaven, we just want to give you praise and honor for how you bless. And these offerings that have come in, we ask that you will multiply them, use them according to your will. We thank you for the opportunity to work through you, with you as a part of your plan of salvation, and we can't wait to see you come in the clouds of glory. So we thank you for being here. We thank you for hearing and answering our prayer tonight. Amen.
Amen.
The Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. The Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. May his favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family and your children and their children and their children. May his presence go before you and behind you and beside you, all around you and within you. He is with you. He is with you in the morning, in the evening, when you're coming and you're going, when you're weeping He's for you. 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 The Lord bless you and keep you. Make His face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn His face toward you and give you peace.